Don Lemon on CNN. I think Don Lemon might be a talking point slot machine. I think we might have just hit the jackpot.
Listen, there are many good things about political parties and many not so good things about political parties, but I just don't believe in voting because someone is a Republican or someone is a Democrat. I vote on what they have done, what they will do, what their records are, and what they stand for. So having said that, there is one political party in this country that is working on reality, and that is the Democratic Party. But even in that, they're not governing very well at the moment. They're not performing the duty of being good politicians in the moment. They don't see the urgency of what's happening across the country with voting rights, what's happening, the urgency of what's happening with the big lie. They are still operating on thinking that, everything is normal. You know, we've got to play politics as usual. It's not politics as usual. What is happening on the right is not politics as usual. And what's happening on the right is not right. It's wrong. And they should pay the consequences for what they're doing to our democracy, the damage they're doing to our democracy, and the damage they're doing to this republic.
It's not just that what Don Lemon said is not true. It's that it's meaningless. That's the problem, the meaninglessness. Don Lemon comes out on CNN, and he goes on this rant about the political parties and partisanship and and how we're not living in normal times and Republicans are a threat to our democracy. And we can go through point by point, and we will very briefly. But my issue with it is not, it's not his partisanship. He's obviously a Democrat. It's not his ideology. He's obviously a leftist, so much as his mindlessness. I have friends who are liberal friends of mine for many, many years, family members, beloved family members, who will do this sort of thing. It doesn't bother me if you don't know anything about politics. It doesn't bother, I think, blessed are you if you can just sort of do your job and watch sports and hang out with your kids and just have a nice time. That's great. Good for you. No, I don't think people need to be in the nitty-gritty of politics all the time. But what does bother me is when people, without doing any work or any sort of research or giving any real thought whatsoever to a political issue, mindlessly just spout off these kinds of slogans. That's a big problem. That's a far greater threat to our democracy than any of this stuff. First thing Don Lemon says is, look, I don't like partisanship. Okay, parties have their place, but I don't just vote for someone because they're a Democrat. Okay, I vote for the person, not the party, the person. What does that mean? What does that mean? Lots of uncertainty out there in the markets right now, in our economy and our whole political system, which is why I think a lot of people are interested in investing in physical precious metals, specifically gold. But you will say, Michael, it's very expensive to invest in physical gold. Calm down. What if I told you could invest for $30 a month? Michael, you liar. Don't call me a liar. Listen up. Acre has developed this new system. You subscribe to their gold bars. When your gold stash reaches the price of their gold bars, you will discreetly get Acre Gold physically at your home, and you can have it and you can enjoy it. They've also got a $100 subscription to a 5-gram gold bar. I have really enjoyed investing in physical precious metals and in Acre Gold specifically. Go to getacregold.com/Knowles. Start investing in physical gold today. Make sure you go to that URL because Acre is giving away a gold bar. To qualify for the giveaway, tweet or post why you should be the recipient and mention @get_Acre. That's getacregold.com/Knowles. I don't vote for the person. I vote for what the person is going to do. And what the person is going to do is informed by how that person views the world, and how that person views the world is going to align almost perfectly with a political party. I vote for the person, not the party, means I like the person's haircut. I like the way they talk. I think that person is attractive. Really, if you had to choose between the two, you should vote for the party, not the person. Because at least the party tells you something about the ideas, what the person thinks, what they're going to do. The person, that's just flattery. It's just superficial. Vote for the person, not the party. So you're going to vote for under what circumstances, Don Lemon, would you vote for a Republican? Probably never. He's probably being disingenuous. But I guess he could say, it just makes him feel good to seem like he's really open-minded. But I guess he would say he votes for a Republican when the Republican wants to do a bunch of Democrat things. Well, then he's just practically a Democrat. Okay. Then he goes on, he says, Democrats aren't paying attention to what the Republicans are doing with voting rights. What about with voting rights? It's just such a vague slogan. With voting rights. With with the big lie. What is the big lie? Don Lemon doesn't even know what the phrase the big lie means. The big lie, which is how Democrats describe Donald Trump's perfectly reasonable observation that there were some strange shenanigans with the 2020 presidential election. The big lie was a phrase that it refers to the Nazis, right? This is why they're using that phrase, is to compare Republicans to Nazis. What they don't realize is Hitler used the phrase the big lie in Mein Kampf to accuse the Jews of telling a lie about a German general as it pertained to World War I. So when you accuse someone of using the big lie, you are actually putting yourself in the place of Hitler and putting your opponents in the place of the Jews. Again, a point lost on people who don't pay any attention to these things and who are not thoughtful and who are not particularly educated, like Don Lemon. Okay, then he goes on. This is what they're doing to our democracy. First of all, we don't live in a democracy. We don't. The American government is not supposed to be a democracy. It's a form of democracy. It involves some democratic elements. It includes some non-democratic elements as well. And ironically, the people most opposed to our democracy at the moment seem to be Democrats who believe that laws on, for instance, abortion should be made from the judges, that laws on coronavirus mandates should be pushed from the executive agency, who believe that all these sorts of decisions, that marriage itself ought to be redefined against the will of the people by certain judges. All of these sorts of things. The only party resembling an oligarchic party in the United States would be the Democratic Party. Absolute mind. Do not do this yourself. I don't need to warn you. You're a thoughtful person. Do not parrot these mindless slogans. It's very, very embarrassing. I'm so glad that you enjoyed this video on YouTube. I'm so glad YouTube let me keep this video up, because sometimes I say true things and then YouTube doesn't want me to say those true things. So they say that the true things are false things and then they promote false things, and it's really frustrating. If you want to stop that kind of preposterous, dangerous, anti-American censorship, I would strongly recommend you go check out the audio version of this podcast, which is harder for the big tech tyrants to censor. You can get that at The Michael Knowles Show. It's free. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, wherever you get your podcasts. Head on over there before some of these other joints try to censor us entirely.